Hello, everybody. My name is Jim Farmer. I'm the festival director of Out on Film, Atlanta's LGBTQ Film Festival. This is our 37th year, and we have some amazing films. As always, we have a wonderful assortment of short films from around the world. One of my favorite programs is Around the World, and we have some of the filmmakers from that program to discuss this. This program will be playing September the 27th at 5 o'clock at the Midtown Arts Cinema and also available online. So we have the team today from Chickenshit and Stimulants and Empathogens. So why don't we start with the Chickenshit team? Tell us a little bit about your film, yourself, and your film.
Sure, yeah, thanks, Jim. I'm Ellie Rogers. I'm the director of Chickenshit. Chickenshit is a story about two young 12-year-old boys in England who are kind of gallivanting around the countryside and come across an electric fence, and a sort of game produces something to shift in their relationship as the game sort of progresses. And it's written by Charlie Tidmus and produced by Iria Pisania, and it was sort of born out of a desire to work with them, really. We've been friends for a long time. And yeah, it was a special film to shoot. Luckily, the weather was blissful, which isn't always a thing in England. But yeah, we sort of wanted to really try and kind of demonstrate these two sides of masculinity within these young boys, this sort of rough housing and kind of often volatile and potentially toxic, but also this tenderness and this kind of emotional honesty between them as well.
Great. Thanks so much. Stimulants and Empathogens.
Yeah, so my name is Mateusz Pacewicz, and I'm the director of Stimulants and Empathogens. I'm first of all very, very happy to be a part of this program and to share this selection with such great films from diverse contexts from all around the world. I would say that I started as a screenwriter, obsessed with the one definition of cinema, a lie to tell the truth, and all my stories were always revolving around characters who had to lie in order to basically survive in various circumstances. And I was very lucky with my first feature films. Like first of them, Corpus Christi, got Oscar nominated and was just completely crazy. And then I struggled a little bit to get money for my short film because everybody wanted me to make a feature film, because that's what producers want. Nobody really has any financial interest in short films, sadly. At least in Poland. I don't know how it is in UK or the US. But anyways, just to wrap it up, I still wanted to have a short film before I moved to a feature film, because I was like scared that it maybe wouldn't be for me, or that directing wouldn't really, you never know unless you get out there. You never know how it's gonna go. I'm very happy to say it was great. And The Stimulants and Pathogens was a story that started with this simple idea about a kid who buys drugs from his secret love interest. Even though he doesn't take the drugs, it's only just to hang around with the other kid who comes from a very different social context, from basically a family of drug dealers. And I just had this pitch. And then I started reading a lot of Molière, the French playwright from the 17th century, because I felt that maybe it will be inspiring. And boy, was it inspiring. It made me go deeper and deeper into some kind of provocative satirical humor, in which, as Molière did in the 17th century, I wanted to, bash Polish society for different things that I see in us and also in myself that are not that great. But using subversive humor. So that's the origin and a little bit of my background.
Great. Where are both of you in your festival run? We'll start again with Chickenshit.
Yeah, so we're sort of coming to the end of our festival run, but it's been such a lovely thing to kind of, when we've been able to go to certain festivals, and particularly sitting with queer audiences and getting a sense of kind of how they relate to the story, and really great conversations with them about, being young and figuring out those feelings that you have. We've been to Galway and Palm Springs and Atlanta, which is awesome. And we're sort of I'm trying to think with the kind of final ones that we're going to, but I think we're still even waiting on some to come along. But yeah, overall it's been really special, and it's like wonderful to be back in Atlanta and things for the LGBTQ film festival there and things, which is great.
Stimulants and Empathogens.
We are starting out. I think that in Poland, we are kind of midway because we had our Polish national premiere in the Krakow Film Festival in late May, early June. And now we're gonna also have a Warsaw premiere at the really cool Warsaw Film Festival at the kind of best Polish film shorts selection. And actually, we're very proud that Out on Film is our international premiere. So we're hoping for many other festivals, queer festivals, all kinds of festivals. We're also getting into youth festivals in Poland and abroad as well, which is very cute, I think, because it's a story that I didn't think that it's gonna be for essentially like, for young people per se, but apparently a lot of even schools wanted to show it to kids in Poland and stuff. So I'm really happy and proud of this. I think that it's always the best when the audience is as diverse and comes from as many backgrounds as possible for any story, basically, because it's the best test also of your storytelling, basically, in film.
Exactly. So, final question. Well, next to final question. Can both of you talk about the importance of queer representation? Again, we'll start with Chickenshit.
Yeah, I mean, as a gay woman growing up in like quite a kind of small community in England, quite a conservative community as well. Like queer representation was everything to me, and this was before Netflix and streaming services and things. So I'm sure a lot of us can relate to that sort of thing of hiding under the bed covers and watching like the L Word or something like that. So yeah, I mean, I think it's as a filmmaker, it's kind of baked into you the importance of those stories and seeing characters that feel like you and represent you. And as a result, I think it opens our mind to kind of the different experiences that people have in the queer community as well. The trans experience and I think it's so important to be telling those stories and to get the people who actually have a kind of an authentic voice to tell those stories, and to hopefully all help each other kind of be able to sort of push forward with the kind of politics of those things and the things that we're struggling with in the world currently. So yeah, I think it's everything, and it's just always such a joy to like sit with a queer audience and watch queer work. Like it's like nothing else that you feel. Like it's like a euphoric sense of excitement and nerves, and it feels like a family and things, which is awesome.
Great.
Yeah, fully agreed. I think it's absolutely vital, and in the specific context of Poland, I would say that I come from a country that is homophobic up until recently, very openly. Like when you look at the government, we had crazy things like more than 100 municipalities that were free from LGBT propaganda, whatever it even means. So it was really tough. Actually, when I was writing the story, it was still under the previous government. So I felt that it had this type of importance. But already in the film, I also wanted to tackle something that, at least in Polish cinema, is not, I think, discussed or depicted, which is different shades and types of pseudo openness of those elites that we have, at least in Warsaw, cultural elite system, that you have like very rich parents who send their kids to like very modern and like international schools. Basically, we call them expert kids. But I talked a lot to the youth from those schools because I'm not from the youth anymore. So I wanted to know how it is to be young and queer in Poland nowadays, and I found that the parents from those schools sometimes proclaim those very open-minded narratives, and they say how they're absolutely not homophobic and stuff until it's about their kids, and then suddenly, under the pretext of some kind of psychological help because you're struggling, it kind of gets dark very, very quickly, sometimes with parents who on paper you would never, like, if you look their Facebooks, they even have like rainbow flags, right? Because in Poland it became a symbol of the anti-peace, so like anti-fascist movement. So it's tricky right now after the government change also, I think, with queer representation, because on one hand, we feel like, the progressives have won and they've taken the country back. But at the same time, when you look at the actual policies or motivation to really change something in a deeper sense in the society, there's a lot of conservatism and fear, even coming from people who were supposed to be the open ones. So I also wanted to tackle that, and I'm happy we managed to through the cooperation also of the actors and even the intimacy coordinator, who had a lot of cool observations on that particular subject.
Great. Okay, final question. What's next for both of you?
Okay, yeah. So I'm working on another short at the moment, but I'm hoping that it's going to be a sort of springboard into a feature that I'm writing. So the short is very personal. It's based on my experience of losing my mum, and it's about a family in their own home, kind of grappling with the death in their own home, and how that changes the space that they're in, as well as the kind of dynamic of going from a family of 4 to a family of 3. So that's the short, and then the feature is similarly kind of based on that experience, but it's how I met my wife at the same time as losing my mum, and how that kind of crossover of sort of love and loss was very kind of worked in tandem and in parallel. So yeah, it's a sort of a queer love story set over the course of a year, and about a young graduate whose future changes because of this death and then this new love.
Okay.
Well, for me, I'm definitely done with shorts. On my side, making shorts is amazing, but finding the money for me, it was tricky. So I'm relieved that it was a great experience, and I also hope to move to feature film directing because of how basically addicted to the teamwork I feel now, and I don't see myself coming back to just writing for a while, I think. And I'm working on a slightly less personal, but also inspired by my family, a story, basically a sex dramedy, kind of about my babcia, so about my grandmother who got into porn late in her 80s, like in her mid-80s. And we all grappled with it, and we didn't really know how to tackle it. So, this kind of paradoxes of, it's almost kind of a coming of age dramedy about an elderly woman who has to make her family accept her the same way that teenagers usually do that in films. So it's fun to write. It's really fun to consult in Poland because it's really cool. I'm really enthusiastic about it.
Great. All right. The program is Around the World, playing it out on film at September the 27th at 5 o'clock at the Midtown Arts Cinema. It's also available online. Two of the great films that you will see in the program are Chickenshit and Stimulants and Empathogens. Thank you both for sharing your film with us, and thank you both for talking to us today.
Thank you so much, Jim. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Y'all have a good day.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
I'm really happy.
Bye.
Thanks so much.